to another episode of Coffee at the 10 Star Home. My name is Ruth, I work for SUHO, and today we're talking to Kingspan, who are a partner on the project. So for a 10 Star home, we obviously need to keep insulation to its maximum, and without having Kingspan involved, we wouldn't have been able to do that on this particular project. For the context of the building. So today I have James and Damian here. So maybe James first.
Yes.
Would you like introducing yourself and letting people know what your role is?
Yeah, sure.
Kingspan?
Okay, thanks. So I'm James from Kingspan Insulation. I've been with the business now for about 15 years. The role of the business is what I do from the day-to-day job is go out there and look at trying to see what projects are out there in the market, try and deal with architects and designers, work on the specifications with those people to try and make their buildings more energy efficient, and also try and achieve the Section J energy efficiency provisions within the National Construction Code. Plus we get out and talk with contractors and distributors and those people as well, just to make sure the product gets to market and it gets installed correctly.
Great. Hi Damian, how are you?
Yeah, well Ruth, so my role, I'm area manager with Kingspan. I've been with Kingspan for 8 years, so very similar role to James. Look after a few of the regional areas as well, but it's really out there to promote and educate building designers and architects and ESDs about our product and where it fits in the marketplace as well. Obviously to provide beautiful 10-star homes like this and make them more energy efficient.
Fantastic. And can you describe the reason why Kingspan wanted to be involved? Obviously we came to you very early on because of the 10-star requirements and what we were simulating in First Rate 5. But part of the project and having the partners involved is about value alignment as well, and us all sort of communicating and pushing that message forward together. Can you describe why Kingspan was involved?
We were pretty keen to get involved. I mean, we manufacture a rigid insulation board. We wanted to demonstrate how providing insulation is one of the most cost-effective ways of achieving an energy-efficient building. The insulation that we manufacture is a rigid insulation board. It's made from a phenolic resin, very high R value for its thin profile.
Quite durable as well.
It is very durable. It gets. Yeah, we laminate plasterboard to it. We do a whole lot of different things with the Kingspan cool therm. In this house here, for example, we put it on the exterior wall. On the outside of the timber stud, and then there was battens on top of that. Then an exterior cladding went onto there. But the beauty of it is it gives you a continuous insulation. The good thing about a continuous insulation, what that means is you don't have any gaps or breaks in your insulation barrier, and the fact that so that way your energy efficiency doesn't have any areas where the heat or the cold can sort of thermal bridge out. So having that continuous insulation is really what it's about. And the fact that it's rigid insulation, what that will mean is you won't get any sagging over time, whereas other types of insulation, if they're not so rigid, they can sort of sag or dish over time, which will leave those gaps that we're trying to avoid.
You actually make a really good point about sagging of insulation, because otherwise you've got areas inside walls, if you were to use a thermal camera, where essentially there's no insulation. So a lot of people would understand insulation as being maybe that, the old-fashioned bats, the yellow things that they see inside walls. Can you describe the difference, either of you, about the products that you've got and what is insulation, essentially, the different types?
Yeah, well, I guess first of all, in terms of the bats, we're talking about just your typical wall bats that fit between cavities. So therefore, you're still getting that thermal leakage through framework. They come in range of thicknesses, and they generally tend to be fibrous as well, or mineral. But then they're the same type of bats that would be similar to maybe underneath your iron roof, such as your blanket, with just a bit of foil on that as well. So they tend to be your conventional type of insulation. So where we have modernised, I guess, and we've moved away from that, because Kingspan has been solely about getting that continuous insulation, that barrier. So that's where all of our solutions fit into the marketplace. So we're not talking about just filling in cavities, we're talking about complete continuous insulation across your wall, or even underneath your roof iron. So in saying that, I mean, we do have other types of products, which is our air cell range, which are more flexible, and they come in a thin profile, basically a foil sandwich with some foam in between, and that product can generally be used underneath your roof iron and also as a wall wrap and still provide that continuous insulation.
Yes, fantastic. So last year at Sustainable House Day, it was really important to us to have shown the house under construction. And we've managed to get your product in there, which is great because that was a crucial element that isn't normally seen. Can you describe the process that you guys go through in terms of assisting architects, designers, not just in residential but commercial as well? You do a lot of that. In terms of the installation of products and people being able to problem shoot, I guess, like finding better solutions to over-insulating houses and things like that?
Of course, yeah, Ruth. So Kingspan, being able to provide and manufacture such a high-performing R-value product at a thin profile, it takes away, we throw ideas and suggestions with architects and designers who may just have conventional construction methods already in place, and just some things that they may not be accustomed to putting new designs or new ideas into buildings. So that's where it's a value for us, is to educate the market and show them we might not need to build a 90mm stud wall and just fill it with bulk insulation, which therefore creates thermal bridging through the framework. We can create a continuous insulation barrier, which obviously then has the opportunity to reduce the wall footprint as well. So there are so many different elements, but it's about understanding the construction method and the actual project itself and what they're wanting to achieve, and then we can provide various solutions to make sure that it happens.
And I think the advantage of those early stages with you guys was that you have so much experience across residential, commercial and other building types that it wasn't just about, okay, we're going to find a solution that is suitable for residential. It was about something that was replicable elsewhere to other building types, but sometimes that's a commercial application in a residential building, or
getting involved.
That dialogue that we had.
Trying to get involved early on the design phase. That's the best part, to be involved. You don't want to get to a stage where the building's already designed and then you're trying to figure out ways or the best way to make it energy efficient. You want to probably have that conversation with your environmental sustainability officer or person first, or the architect or the designer first, and then you want to get that all up and done first before you go ahead and do the design.
Yes, yeah, and I think that also maybe plays into cost as well, because if you can troubleshoot through your ESD consultant from the word go, you might be able to reduce these other measures that are causing the thermal bridging by having that continuous insulation as well.
Most definitely.
Can you describe the actual product, where it is in the house, and the purpose of the involvement as well?
So where it is, so it's in this brick wall. So this building here being a reverse brick veneer, which is a very good and energy efficient way to build, having the thermal mass on the inside of the building. But where the cool therm is at the moment is, so behind this brick wall here, you'd have a timber frame, and then in front of that timber frame, you've got our K12 rigid insulation board, and then on the outside, on the outside of the timber frame, and then so you have your brick, your framing, then the K12 will be on the outside of the frame, then there'll be a batten, and then the exterior cladding on there. So, so the idea of the insulation being on the outside of the building, we're actually stopping the heat from entering into the actual building in the summer months, I suppose, and then in the winter when the heat is inside the house, and this thermal mass picks up on the heat in the walls, you've got the insulation behind the thermal mass stopping that heat from leaking out into the outside. So it's having the continuous insulation is the best way to achieve those better energy efficient buildings.
And I know there were a lot of discussions between Geraldine and I think yourself, or maybe Damian, about like the fact that we didn't want to perforate this on the outside. So there were other design strategies that we could float with you about bringing the services through the slab and and communicating that on site to the trades. I know that you were out here during construction and making sure that we kept that continuous.
Yeah, you don't want to go perforating it too much, putting it too many
holes in it.
too many holes in it with penetrations or anything like that. You know, you want to keep it continuous, and the other benefit of it is, as far as air tightness of a building, continuous insulation is virtually almost like the key to keeping that air tightness of a building. So that way you don't have, you know, when you do the testing as far as air tightness goes, the continuous insulation is certainly going to help.
Yes. Yep.
Help with that.
And can you describe what Kingspan's focus is in terms of being involved in this project, but also in a global market in terms of energy efficiency? Where is your focus? Where are you wanting to journey to?
We've been manufacturing since the early 1960s. So we manufacture a lot of products that deals around energy efficiency and basically trying to save power, I suppose you would say. We're involved in a program called Planet Passionate. It's a global initiative. It's it really sort of trying to encourage all of the Kingspan employees on a global sense to try and think about ways of being more energy efficiency, not only for ourselves but for the building, for the whole company as well. We've got a manufacturing facility now, which is carbon, which is our plan is to be carbon neutral by 2030. It's the first 6-star Green Star manufacturing facility in Australia, so we're pretty proud of that. It's in Victoria, so we're manufacturing over there, and our main goal as a business is to try and encourage people to be more energy efficient and try and save on having to burn electricity or
the fossil fuels for electricity.
Absolutely,
yes. So obviously the information that we've talked about can be quite technical. So a lot of people often want another place to go to so they can read more. So they can go to the 10starhome.com.au website to find out more information about your product. But also, do you have a particular area that you'd like people to research?
Yeah, they can go to our website, which is our Kingspan Insulation Australia.com. They can go to our website. They can. I think you've got our details on your 10-Star House website as well.
We do.
So
yes. Yep.
if they go to any of those links and get in contact with us, we'll be happy to talk to them and give them further information.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for you both to take the time to be interviewed today. Thank you very much also for your inclusion in the project as well, because I know that almost since the beginning, I believe, we've been liaising with you guys on the performance of the house to make sure that we could get that 10-star rating. So thank you all for being involved and being here.
No worries.
And
thank you.
It'll be interesting to see where we go from here, and reinforce the fact that insulation is such an important part of energy efficiency and driving down that demand as well.
Oh, thanks for being a part of it, and we look forward to the outcomes as well.